Last week, both to show you how crazy things are, we are both at Wedding NBA. We are both speaking at Wedding NBA. You performed. We never saw each other once.
Not one time.
Not even on the trade show floor. And that was it.
It was really a quick one. And I mean, so I ended up having to do a second. I was scheduled to do 2 speaking things, and then I got roped into a third one for photo
I heard
booth.
one of the photo booth people had a conflict and couldn't make their commitment.
I found out like not too long before I had to go up there, and I told them, I said, listen, I am not a photo booth operator. Okay. So I don't think I'm the best fit for
way to open it. And you thought I was bad using the word shit in the beginning of the show.
No, I'm saying, I didn't say this to the audience. I told Shannon this. I'm like, listen, I don't think I'm the best fit to be replacing this guy. And it's supposed to be on photo booth trends of all things. I'm like, I don't use the gear. Like, I'm not the guy. Like, I don't know how. Right. She's like, you'll be great. You'll be great. This is the line she gave me. I'm like, okay. So
were you? What did you do?
No, it was terrible.
Okay.
Like, I don't. They used to rate those things. I didn't see that they had any app or anything.
No, they still do.
Do they? Where is it?
All of the attendees get emailed a survey, and then they're told which shows, which seminars, and which speakers they liked a lot. Because I got some very nice emails from people requesting the slides from my PowerPoint presentation, and I was happy to send them. And so the only thing that I asked people is if they would be kind enough to share this positive feedback with Shannon, and one of them said that they'd already given me 10s across the board.
Wow. Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. I'm sure that photo booth talk went down to 0s. There's no way that thing got above a 1. If it did, I'll be amazed. But it turned into a lot of Q&A.
That's right, folks. We're glad to have him back because he's such a contribution to our show.
But I will say, I was really impressed with how many DJs were there this year. It seemed like there were more than usual. So
yeah, there are 2 smallest categories in general is photo booths and videographers, which is why they shared that track. So if you notice, there was about half the amount for each of those tracks. So they shared that one room, and that's how that wound up going. So
got it.
So that was all. But yeah, Drax from Photo Booth Association sponsored that, and then he also sponsored it with ADJA, and so those were all sponsored. So
fantastic.
But this was the first year I did not speak on DJ. I was actually pretty stoked. So
yeah,
I had my own room. I had 500 people in my room. I did a quick chair count, which was a good size room. So, and I get to talk about marketing, which is my big passion.
Yeah. Was this the biggest show? I mean, this is probably the biggest industry show.
This is their biggest show, period. Last year they had 4,500. This year they had 5,500. So they grew by 1,000, which is what, 20%?
Yeah. Where are they growing this from? Are they just growing this from across the platforms, or?
Yeah, I don't think there's any one. Their biggest audience are still party planners were number 1, and then catering people were number 2. Meaning people involved in hotels, banquet halls, off-premise catering. That all I think gets lumped into one category.
Got it.
So, and then the people that complain the most are the DJs, of course. No, I'm just kidding.
Really? Totally. Yes, I say like really.
Yeah, DJs complain. What?
Yeah. What did you get any nuggets at this show?
I did, and we talked about this a little bit last week, so I'll be brief. I went to a bridal show producers summit on Monday before the show opened, and it was awesome. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. I was in a room with 17 other bridal show producers from all over the country, so it was absolutely fantastic. And I was the freshman in the class, so I was the one that was there to learn and listen, and because I've got a big mouth, I got involved, and they said it was nice. They said that I kept things moving because I kept asking the right questions, and like halfway through the day, I go, I hope you guys don't think I'm being disrespectful. I said, it sounds like we all have the same challenges, but for justifiable reasons, nobody wants to be the first one to say, what about this and what about that? And I said, I don't care. I'd rather just address it, and then if we can openly talk about it. And I said, from the looks of it, there's nobody even here from the same state, let alone the same city. So, with the exception of Bill Heaton, who produces shows all over the country, that was it. And he was actually still pretty forthcoming about who insures his shows and various people. So even though he's got he's the big guy. I mean, he's doing 50 large scaled shows. Like in your neck of the woods, he works at, he produces shows at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square. Right. So that was that.
That's awesome, man. That's great. So we're getting close to the end of the year. We're thinking through 2019. I mean, it's crazy. It's like Thanksgiving's like next week.
I know. I can't believe Halloween was here.
Right.
They used to be one of my favorite holidays, but I think I'm just so wrapped up in my business and everything else and because I don't have kids, and I know you don't have kids, but John had to be trick-or-treating central, right, John?
That is correct. We had a good time with it. The weather held out. It was a beautiful evening.
I was going to say, thanks for the contribution, John. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Should we put a mannequin in there that looks like you?
We're having issues with the internet right now, so Facebook is down, but we're recording, so we'll just run the recording up. So we'll keep going.
It's one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Someday I hope we get to be the level of a PhDJ where we can put it out on a platform. Somebody will see us. You notice that we have the most amount of problems when Brian's on. When Brian's not on, we never have an issue.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So,
but the viewer count goes down. That's weird.
Oh, is that it?
Well, yeah, that's what I hear.
Mom, please watch. Dad, please watch. Yeah. Just turn on all the computers in the place.
Right. Whatever it takes to get those ratings up. So what are you thinking through for 2019? I mean, are you
right now what I'm doing is I'm looking back at what worked, what didn't work, what things I didn't do properly, and and even just tweaking things. Here's what I came away with from Wedding NBA and from the Bridal Show Producer Summit, and you two are in the same boat that I'm in. Many years ago, I feel like there were marketing elements that were like steroids, okay? Like if you were one of the first people on the knot before it became saturated, you were making bank. You know what I mean? You may have been on there with like 5 other DJs.
Right.
And they had brides galore coming in, or what, I shouldn't use the words right, wedding couples coming on, and you were getting 2-3 inquiries a day. And it was great, and you might have bumped your stuff up, but, here we are 10, 15 years later, and just like everything in America, it's now saturated. So instead of getting, let's say 20 leads a month, you might be getting 3 leads a month. And now you have to turn around and reevaluate, especially if those prime, truly primary spaces aren't available, whether they're called a spotlight or a premium ad or whatever it is. It just isn't the same anymore. Mm-hmm. So either A, you're going to come up with the most cost-effective way of still being represented on the net, in some way, proactive way, and then also do the same thing on Wedding Wire, and also do the same thing on Wedding Vibe and Premier Bride and every other, second, third, fourth, fifth tiered, bridal network, and just spread your money around. Like an example is I play roulette in Vegas. All right. I play birthdays. So I play 15 different birthdays, and then I spread my money around the table. And sometimes they hit on my primaries, and sometimes they don't. And I think that marketing is going to be a lot like that. Years ago, I'd have a 25% open rate on my email campaigns. It's not like that anymore. And it says this is no reflection on the Knot or David's Bridal or any of the other sources that supply emailing services or you can buy lists from. Today we are inundated with emails galore everywhere, and wedding couples have gotten smart enough that they have created, Brian Tara Wedding 2019 at gmail.com, and they don't check it every day like they check their regular email.
Right.
It's their collection box. And so you don't get the response that you used to. And if somebody has used their primary email, and as a bridal show promoter, I can tell you this, when that email gets out to somebody, they're pissed, and so I don't even know if it's a positive thing, but again, part of it is just a matter of I think it's like being in shape. You have to diet, you have to do cardio, you have to get good sleep, you have to do strength training, you have to do all of it, and not one of it is necessarily going to put you over the top. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what things did you see that really worked well for you last year that you're going to continue? I mean, what are you looking at? Anything you can share? Or things you're going to cut?
You know what? I'm going to do less boosted posts on Facebook and do a lot more stuff with pixel ads, because pixels are definitely where it's at. There's no question about that. So it's a different style of display ad is what it is. Why don't you guys talk? I just had a customer that was who texted me, and I apologize for this. So you two talk. Let me shoot this customer a quick text, and we'll be right back.
Wow.
Well, money. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You go take care of that. We can do that.
Well, yeah.
Is he going to stay on?
What about John? Have you?
One of the things I'm going to.
Have you?
For next year, I'm just going to jump off the same question you gave KC there. Is really spending more time. I took a lot of pictures at venues this past year, whether it's an action where people are having fun in a venue, or even some of the pretty pictures that DJs typically do, and really focusing in the next month and a half, basically after Thanksgiving, is posting and tagging venues with the pictures. That hey, here is Susan and Joe's wedding from this past summer, and take a look at the lighting, how they had the ambient lighting in the room, and it just made Susan's eyes just pop in this picture as she was.
I agree with everything you're saying. Here's what the problem's going to be. There's going to be a shit ton. That's swear word number 2 of bad pictures on the internet of people's rooms. You know what I mean? You're going to have every DJ or everybody, period, hashtagging Acme Widget Hilton or Acme Widget Country Club, and some of those pictures are just going to be bad. They're just really, really going to be bad.
There's going to be some.
But if he's, But if he's the first one who's doing it in his market, and being the first to market with it, like you said about the knot, then he'll reap the benefits, at least initially, until everybody else jumps on the bandwagon. So,
but as I said, I think a lot of it is there is no super strong anything, and that's what we discovered with the Bridal Show Producer Summit too. Guys used to do this stuff years ago. They used to be on radio, and now they're saying a lot of the mainstream stuff that they're doing for vendors now. If vendors believe that. If vendors see it a billboard up on the highway, or if they hear a radio commercial over and over again, there's a certain belief that they've spent a sizable amount of money on advertising that show's going to be successful. A lot of them said billboards don't do squat for them with regard to ticket sales or pre-registration from wedding couples, but they just view it as it's all part of the stew, and it's just you got to mix it all together to make it happen. But even from talking with everybody there, everybody's talking. It's all about digital marketing now. Yeah. So, I mean, and then the hard part, even with direct mail. Direct mail is, we just got done with a huge November political campaign, and I don't know about you, but my mailbox was just loaded. And a lot of them, because I'm a marketing guy, I just looked at it for size, printing, design. I never even read it. And I only did it for business reasons. I would imagine, John, your wife, and your wife, Tara, they threw it right in the garbage. They didn't even look at it. Well, so the question being is... Yeah,
they're going to look at it, but Lori's looking at it for ad design and color and placement and eye movement.
Okay, yeah, that's I apologize. I didn't mean it that way.
But everyone's going to have their
same reason I am.
Yeah. I'm the one who just throws it away.
But my mom, for example, definitely threw it away. That's all there was to it. Yeah. So that's all.
Interesting.
But it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just doesn't work as effectively. And the question being is, using the Bed Bath & Beyond mantra. They're at bridal shows. They get postcards in the mail. You get little mini catalogs in the mail. You get emails. They're all over digital media too. So again, you have to constantly be all over the place. The trick's going to be how you balance your marketing budget moving forward.
KC,
not everybody has a Bed Bath & Beyond budget, to be everywhere. So I think it's
but it's all scalable. I think. I mean, you could do Facebook ads for $20. You don't have to be super expensive. And the nice part about social media is you can do very finite targeting. So so that's all.
Casey and I were talking
even using bridal show. Go on, John. I'm sorry.
You had mentioned we talked earlier about when we were chatting about tonight's show about the mailing and different things with that. I've noticed, and I've gotten, I think in the last week, I've gotten 8 different catalogs from different companies that I don't think have been producing catalogs in recent years, but I see that they have gone back to producing catalogs of some sort, not as large as they used to. But I'm wondering what's your guys' feeling? Is there a call, demand, or a desire for printed material like that these days?
Right. So hang on one second. Hi, Chris. There's a box right there for you. It's all yours. Just that box.
This is great TV.
All right, Chris. Bye-bye.
So, Brian, tell me, what do you think about the idea about printed catalogs?
So, no, I'll give you an example of, and here's the weird part. Looking at things on a large scale, it's totally contradictory. I don't know. Do either one of you get the catalogs from Uline?
I do.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I get like one a week. And maybe
one a week?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. And it could be because I've got 5 different companies registered here. But here's what's strange. It's not the same catalog every week. It's a slightly different version with a different cover, which is very odd. This time of year, for example, I would have thought that they'd be pushing packaging a lot more, so that if you're going to put together gift baskets or companies that do gift baskets or wrap things up would have been doing that. But that's not necessarily the case. And so it's just interesting, and that thing is a monster. I mean, if they don't own their own printing house, whoever's doing the printing for them is definitely driving a really, really nice car, because that book is, 200-300 pages thick. And again, I give them credit. They have a lot of products that you can't get anywhere else.
Right.
And you definitely, the one thing that they have going for them is convenience. Everything that you need is there. Now, you look at a company, I don't know if you guys are, John will be familiar, but I don't think, Brian, you don't appear to be the handiest guy in the world. But
what gives you that impression?
The fact that you asked me what a screwdriver was the other day. You're like, I can't write with this. I don't understand. It's because I told you it's for cleaning out your ears. No, you look at McMaster Carr and you look at Granger, and again, they're industrial catalogs that these things used to be what, John? 4 inches thick?
Oh, I mean,
they were like the size of a phone book.
Yeah, Granger.
And they had everything. But Granger and McMaster Carr, you could get any nut, any bolt, anything, if it was metric, if it was, and again, I grew up in manufacturing, so that was a necessity. But even when I started my first company, I used to buy stuff from them because they just had stuff that hardware stores didn't have.
Yep.
Right.
So even back in the day, the little banana plugs, when you'd have that little teeny tiny screw that would fall out, you could order those from McMaster Carr. And that was it. So, but I mean, it's just, but again, now they're all online, still killing it. There's no question Amazon's killing it. My business partner, Dina, has, I'd say that there's something shows up every other day. She actually ordered a case of deodorant the other day online just because she hates shopping that much. Yeah. And she said it was the same price, if not cheaper.
Right.
So, whatever. So she's got 12 things of deodorant. If that's what it is, that's what it is. At least we know she's not dirty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, based on the fact that most of us do weddings, I don't know if the mail thing for that demographic fits. I get it for Uline, you're dealing with buyers that are 40, 50 years old that are making those buying decisions.
Where do you get that? Where do you think they're 40 or 50 years old?
Because they're running companies that are dealing with rental items, or tool manufacturers. I got to be a 20-year-old running that kind of a company typically. I mean, you might have a few of them out there, but I would say that would be the vast majority of those. But I'm talking comparable to a person getting married who's clearly going to be more likely in their like mid-20s or so. I don't think they look at the stuff in the mail very often. I don't think it's like apples to apples comparison. I mean,
I think it's like anything. You need to give them a reason to look at it. Now, the question is, what is it going to cost? That's the big trick.
Honestly, when I get my mail, I throw everything away unless it's a bill or it's a check coming into me. I don't look at any of that stuff. And I'm like a tweener. I'm not a...
So if you got some funky, cool packaged thing, you wouldn't even open it?
Nope.
How do you know it's not a box of money?
Because, I mean, you can tell. I mean,
how's that?
By the packaging, by the way it's... I mean, I know what a check looks like. Trust me, if it ain't cashable, I ain't gonna. I mean, I've seen fake checks before too, so I know which ones those are as well.
Right.
So I mean, unless it's something that's like an actual handwritten letter that looks like it's coming from a friend of mine, I tend to just assume that it's trash. It's advertising that I don't want, and so I just throw it away.
But here's the thing: you look at a company like Bed Bath & Beyond or Uline, they wouldn't do it if they didn't have a certain amount of success. And when you look at a company specifically like Bed Bath & Beyond,
right,
they have codes on the back where you bring in the coupon, and there's no question that those stores, they scan that coupon, and they know in every geographic area how many people came in and everything else. So, so that's all.
Well, I think but again, I go back to the fact that their budget, they have a lot more, they have a lot more ability to make a miss than a small budget that, especially a DJ company that's not making close to that kind of money, has to make that same kind of error. We don't have the same, we're not looking at apples to apples on advertising budgets to be able to have a miss like that. You have to be even more strategic as a small business than you do as a big Fortune 500 company, for sure. So
I think it's all scalable. I think everything is scalable.
Well, I mean, it would be like saying, okay, if I have $100 and I'm going to put $10 in Facebook ads, I'm going to put $10 in, a postcard mailer. You aren't focusing on one specific thing very well, so the rate of return for any of that's probably going to be pretty minimal. So my view is pick one or two things really strongly that you want to put some money in to really see that money develop, or see that rate of return develop a little bit more, than to just spread your seed everywhere and just hope that, because I'm in multiple different listings. Now, if it's free, don't get me wrong, do all the free ones you want to, but if it's costing you money, I think you're kind of just throwing it away. You might as well burn that money. I don't think you're going to get nearly the return on those things. And you could also make a foolish mistake and think that avenue doesn't work, but the reason why it doesn't work is because you didn't put enough in it to make it work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Possibly so, but let's use a bridal show as an example, okay? And not because I'm a bridal show producer, but here's the benefit of a bridal show. Depending on the bridal show producer, there's a good chance that your company is going to be listed, if not linked, to that bridal show producer's website. So they're giving you some sort of an online presence. Then the day of, they are giving you the opportunity to be face-to-face interacting with wedding couples getting married.
Yep.
Then after the show is over, they give you a list that allows you, the ability to do direct mail, to do telemarketing, should you choose to, or do direct mail. So again, when I'm talking about how are you going to spread your money around, if you're going to do a bridal show, and I'm not saying this because I'm a bridal show guy, but if you're going to invest $1,000 in this, you add in maybe another $400 for printing or what have you, you could turn around and postage. You could have your postcards ready. And again, you do it right after the show's over. You do it another month after that, another month after that, another month after that. And you keep tweaking your list. So you take out the people that have already expressed to you they're not interested, or, say unsubscribed from your email list or what have you. The thing is, I think that it's just much more complicated now than it ever has been. And so from that aspect, I think that therein lies the challenge.
How so? How's it complicated? I'm confused.
Because everybody communicates differently. And
So
if
you're
you're
just
really,
saying it's not complicated. It's just there's more avenues for people to be marketed to, is what you're saying,
correct,
right?
and in order for you to have a presence in all of them,
Right.
the question being is, okay, so there's one example, but then you turn around and you're going to do target remarketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means now you have to put an invisible strip of code onto your website, right?
Right.
And somehow, hopefully, you've done something that entices them to click through on one of your emails from the bridal show, or you said something at the bridal show that entices them to click through. And now they've clicked on your website, which means now your target remarketing software or campaign is now working. Mm-hmm. So now all of a sudden you're popping up everywhere. So now you have to manage your target remarketing software as well.
Right.
And so again, there's just a lot more balls in the air for us to, as marketers, for us to keep an eye on.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the perceived value. Here's the good and the bad part about being a wedding MBA. Just because this worked for Acme Widget Company doesn't mean it would necessarily work in a different market.
Agreed.
Or in a different field. And so an example is, John, are you in front of a computer?
Yep.
John?
Yes.
Are you?
Yeah.
I want you to do me a favor. Google search Chicago wedding florists. Are you in front of a computer, Brian?
I'm not, but I will trust you.
Well, let's see what John comes up. Hopefully, and there's a reason that I say this.
Okay.
So
in the box at the top.
Chicago wedding florists.
Yep, I did that. So in the very box at the top that has the map and such, I've got Ashland Addison Florists, Anthony Grouter Designs, and Natural Beauties Floral Design. Those are the top two. They're in the boxes, and then there's more places. Getting into the actual listing, Wedding Wire, The Knot, Yelp, WomanGettingMarried.com, Brides.com, Fab Floral Chicago, Life in Bloom Chicago. How far do you want me to go?
Okay. Keep going.
Chicago Wedding
all the way down
to Florist, Aberdeen's, excuse me.
Okay.
Hey, there you go.
Now here's my point. We're on page 1 of Google. How many people tell us that, and that's organic, okay? How many people tell us, oh yeah, we saw you because you were on page 1 of Google? Like none. Now again, it doesn't hurt to be there.
Yep.
But let's face it, we go to all these seminars and we go to all these workshops and we get emails all the time, right? Saying, hi, I'm an SEO company and I'll make your company, number 1 or on page 1 of Google. And I can tell you, there's a certain perception that brides or wedding couples in general are shopping on Google, right? I mean, Sonny's not going to tell you that. None of the people from the Knot are going to tell you that. And I don't necessarily think that I don't know that they necessarily are. But again, totally random. And we've been number 1 on page 1, like for the last 3 years. And I can tell you the amount of people that either come in or what have you from Google, it's slim and none. Now, again, I'd still rather be on page 1 than on page 6 because the odds of something happening are still greater. But again, how many times are we conditioned, or how often are we conditioned to say, oh yeah, I need to be on page 1. Mm-hmm. You got to be on page 1 of Google. The trick is to be number 1 in Minnesota DJs or Chicago DJs or whatever. I mean, it just doesn't, to me, it's just not a big deal. And I think Chicago Wedding Florist is a logical, searchable term, don't you think?
Oh, sure.
Would you agree, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely.
So going back to this, the trick is, in my opinion, you need to look at what was the most effective, look at what was the least effective, and hopefully you're tracking things, okay? And you need to be honest with yourself, which is always the toughest part. I mean, it's always funny because what you look in the mirror and see, Brian, and what I look when I see you and what you see in the mirror are two different things.
I agree.
Okay. And so the trick is going to be to try to be objective and honest with yourself.
Right.
So that you can start to go, okay, you know what? I really didn't visit banquet halls. I really screwed up. Okay. Because it's really easy for us to justify why we didn't do it. I was so busy. I don't have time. Even when I was visiting them, I didn't get nearly the referrals I thought I would. It wasn't a good use of my time. And, and again, that might be true. But again, there's what happened. And then there are stories that we tell ourselves.
Right.
The venue that I had my 40th birthday party, every time I walk in there, it's hugs and kisses. And she shows me that I'm on the list. Now, she has 10 DJs on the list. So I think I've worked there once in the last 2 years. And when I talked with the banquet manager, who I've become good buddies with, he told me, he goes, KC, I don't see the same DJ or the same DJ company twice in 1 year. He goes, it's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
And I mean, even you, Brian, how often is your company at the same venues? Is it like it was 5 years ago?
No.
Right. And I think this just comes down to the saturation point that is our industry. If you talk to Nick Hahn, he's still friends, and you probably have friends still at Pioneer. They're selling a lot of controllers, and from an equipment point of view, I think the playing field has gotten very, very even as it compared to it was in the 90s and the year 2000.
Technology is, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that used to be a big deal. I mean, but today, my nephew earned it. He's got a pair of really nice JBL EN 615 speakers or whatever they are. Really nice speakers, ultimate support speaker stands, Shure SM58 wireless, CZ SC controller in a Pro X case. He knows from Uncle Keith that none of the extension cords are orange unless you're working outside and you want them to be, so that people don't trip on it, or you want them to see it at an outdoor event. And he's even got a black tablecloth that I set him up with, so that even when he goes into a junior high party on his own, doing a simple little $200 party, he's he's set up neatly and more cleanly than most wedding DJs.
Yeah.
So there's a saturation point.
Are there anything that you're trying, that you're thinking about trying for 2019 that you haven't tried before?
I think I'm going to make a lot of adjustments with regard to. How I'm doing my display advertising through social media. So I used to be able to boost a post and I would do really well with it. And I just don't think that's the case anymore. I'm doing a lot more. I'm looking around at a lot more stuff regarding ClickFunnels. And ClickFunnels to me are going to be a hit or miss thing. Somebody who's truly serious about your brand or about what you're doing, I think will fill out a sizable amount of information. People that are very casual about it, I just think are going to, I'm slightly interested, and then what's going to happen. You're just going to spam the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
The whole ClickFunnels thing is about.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah. That's good.
So, and again, I think it's different for all of my businesses. Right. So, my little cart catering business, nobody's going to come in and talk to me. They're going to want to know, can I have a hot dog cart? How much is it going to be? How long are you there for? Right. ... So even with my wedding vendors, I'll tell you this, I'm in my selling mode. I must have put in 50 to 100 messages today and then emailed probably 50 to 100 wedding vendors. And we've expanded our bridal shows where we're the Windy City Wedding and Women's Show now. And we're doing that. It sounds silly. We're not making a lot of changes, but by calling it the Wedding and Women's Show and allowing non-brides to come through, we're bringing in more vendors, or our goal is to bring in more vendors that appeal to women in general. So now the bridal party members that do come and the moms that come will have a better time too. And it might be a little bit of a play on words, but I'm having a lot more success talking to people like plastic surgeons, cosmetic dentistry, weight loss clinics, trainers, all of a sudden because I made that little. It's going to be 95% of the same audience,
right?
But if I've got more people talking, and the bridesmaids are having a better time, and everybody's spending a little bit more time in general at each booth, then so be it. It's just a win-win. It's a matter of trying to have the most eclectic group of vendors there possible. And what's wrong with having some nail salons there, and and spas, and last I checked, most brides are women. So
right.
I mean, we're so like, I think sometimes we're so like this that's all there is to it. So yeah, for 2019 and going back to it, and I talked about this in Vegas, is part of it is just you have to start with getting a blank calendar and starting to identify what each goal is for each week, each month, each year, and then break it down with an action plan so that like every Wednesday for Aberdeen's, we post a Wedding Wednesday. If you look at my blogs, every single Wednesday, there's a blog going all the way back to when we first started it in June or July. So every Wednesday, come hell or high water, we have a blog up with a different wedding, with a picture gallery, and and anybody that worked that wedding that we know of, we go ahead and hyperlink to we hyperlink them right to their site, and and that's it. We obviously do the right thing with the photographers that give us the pictures, and they either watermark the images, and even if they don't, we do a link to their site thanking them for the images. So we're doing right by them.
That's awesome.
So, but I just think what's going to be frustrating for a lot of wedding vendors is the marketing is going to be a very big deal. I think it's going to be a big deal. I think you're going to have to be as good of a marketer as you are a photographer or a DJ or a banquet hall or a hotel.
Right.
you can create
the most through the noise.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, there were 5,500 wedding vendors there, and even that, I said to everybody, I go, there's got to be 1 million wedding vendors in North America. I mean, honestly. You think about it. If there's 100,000 DJs, and we are the smaller percentage of that, how many travel agents are there? How many photographers are there? How many videographers are there? How many people involved with catering and event sales are there? Right. How many wedding planners are there? So, you're talking about 1 million people in this business. And even though this is a $61 billion industry, you take a good look around,
right?
It's still a lot of small mom and pop businesses. Right. Privately owned bridal salons, small chains of tuxedo companies, unless you're Men's Warehouse, Right. So,
right.
What are you doing differently for 2019?
Well, one thing that I felt for me was the most successful thing I did that I didn't do enough of, which I'm gonna probably do this. Now, this wouldn't work for every DJ company because they're not destination based like I am, but one of the things I really found success in was the drive-bys, literally going by and making. I didn't do that enough. So I started, because I wanted to grow in some markets that I wasn't in. So I flew into the Key West, and I was doing it for a site inspection anyways. And then I literally drove up the whole state, and I had made appointments. So this wasn't like just me popping in and just whatever, but they were so glad that I actually made time for them. And actually, I was shocked to see that they really wanted to meet with me. And the fact that I took time out of my schedule to do that. Now, I've also seen that success doing that in our local market too. And I just think it's a kind of a forgotten art. We've all gotten so like, hey, let's stay on social and not be truly social in the physical sense. And I think people think it's kind of passé and doesn't need to be done, but I think it just shows it's a double. It's two things. It's one. You got to show care. It's got to be genuine. You can't be going in just looking for the sale. It's got to be, hey, you want to develop relationships and ask the right questions and all of that. But the market, especially with venues, those things change over quicker than anything I've ever seen as far
absolutely.
as that. So you can really lose it. Hasn't changed in years. So that's one. And then I tried something new just literally this week, and I'm testing it out on a quarterly basis. And it went so well that I'm going to definitely do it in February to start the next year. But I'm putting together, because I feel like showcasing, where people would have people come to your, you'd rent out that was big for a little while in the last couple of years, where you'd have people, instead of doing a bridal show, you bring them to you, basically.
Yeah, sure.
But it's kind of going away. You don't see people doing that as much anymore.
We did it, and last year I don't think we did it once, because we did it the year before, and in January we had great success. In February we had less. In March we had less, and in April we had literally, I think 3 couples came through.
Oh boy!
And so it was counterproductive with the staff.
Totally.
Yeah.
So what I did is I created something called I'm calling it's the Planner Dining Club. Okay. And we do so much through referral, it's ridiculous, and we just know that that's the best way for us to go about it, because they're qualified leads and all of that. So anyway, I put together this thing where I invited 20. What was it? I think we had 26 people there, of which about 15 of them were planners.
Okay.
And I basically created an event for them, because there's not really an avenue, at least in our Florida market, for them to get together regularly. They used to get together for ABC. No one goes to that anymore. We don't have a WIPA chapter there. So there's no real avenue. And so I partnered with a venue, and I asked this venue, I said, listen, let's bring in some planners that haven't worked here in a while that you want to showcase to. This venue actually does catering as well. So they handled the catering. And we basically set up a night where I brought in some different entertainers. I brought a photographer in, I brought a videographer in, a florist, a designer. I mean, we basically went all out and created a dinner. And I was able to showcase, one of the things I've been wanting to sell more, because I think it would work in our area for the noise ordinance issues that we deal with, is the silent disco.
Right.
It's one of those products, though, that you can't, at least I've never had success selling it, because it's got to be experienced. It's a tough sell. Like
it's really funny you bring that up, because I know there's been a bunch of DJs who have tried to sell the system at Mobile Beat or at DJ Times, and I always looked at it and said, this is stupid. Who would do this? About 3 weeks ago, I did a party for a corporation, or is a national organization of minority architects. And it was our catering business that did it. And the guy who had it, really cool black guy, he had 3 different DJs, and he said they're different style. One's going to do house, one's going to do hip hop, one's going to do old stuff. And I was like, okay. And the crazy part about it was, in the beginning, it was like, not people had the headphones around their neck, but it was mostly because they were eating and enjoying all of the fine cuisine of Chicago that they had done. And they did like a tasting Chicago theme. So they had beef sandwiches and deep dish pizza and hot dogs and the whole deal. And the interesting thing was, when the dancing got started, it was surreal. And fortunately, the one thing they did do is they turned one of the DJs, they turned a speaker on for one of the DJs, so low, like background level.
Right.
Because being a vendor there without headphones on, it was weird.
Yeah, I know, totally.
It was very strange. It was like deadly quiet in this room, and you see people. I guess it's the closest thing I could imagine to being deaf. Like you're looking at, like, how come I can't hear what they're hearing? And it was strange, but I have to say, man, people went bonkers for it.
They did, yeah.
Now on the business side, I don't know how many people though would say this is really cool. I'm going to figure out a way to walk away with these headphones. Some will, some won't. I don't know. So I guess that's just part of doing business, like using fog fluid up, and it just becomes an expense. But it was neat. And I couldn't see it at a wedding. Could you see it at a wedding?
I couldn't see it for the whole thing. No. But for what I was talking about dealing with, which is a noise ordinance issue of stopping at 10 o'clock outdoors, I was trying to sell that to these planners. I've been trying to sell it for years, and I don't think it would go. So once they finally put it on, they actually went through it. They're like, this is great. Yeah. I'm totally telling all my brides about all this. So it was something new that I could kind of showcase. And we got the pictures up just like that. I just got on them the other day. We did this on Monday. I already had the video just got completed tonight. Shot that out. And the buzz and the community was so big with some other vendors who we just, didn't invite or whatever this go around, but they all want to be a part of it now.
Okay.
And so the next one I'm doing in February, I'm not even going to be the entertainment company. I don't want to be. I want to bring in and kind of host it, but I don't want to be doing it every time because it's it's an expense to bring in my people to do all that stuff, just as it is for these photographers.
Do you own your own silent disco, or what did you do?
I didn't. No, I rented it.
Okay.
Yeah.
From somebody outside of your market?
I did. Yep.
Okay.
There isn't anybody in our market that has it. So
gotcha.
I got it through Rob Call. I don't know if you know him. He's out of Ohio. Anyway, so he sent it to me. So I said, dude, I'm not making a dime off this. Can you work out some deal with me? Yeah, sure. I'll work it out. So we worked it out and basically sent over 30 headphones. We had 3 different DJs, just like you just mentioned.
Okay. Got it.
We did one that was a party classics, one that was the club, and then another one that was top 40.
Right.
And it went over great. And so anyway, I feel like investing in relationships is going to be my focus for the next year.
Okay.
Not only drive-bys, but also these kinds of dinners and stuff, because it costs us nothing technically out of pocket money-wise. Time, yes. Thoughts, yes, but whatever. But it was just a great way to build some camaraderie within our area. Right. And to me, it's a better use of time than to try to get brides that are destination to come into our area on a day when they're not visiting it. This is something we can do just locally. So we'll see how that works out. So that's 2 big strategies is, the drive-bys and then these vendor relations with doing this event. And then the third one I'm going to really focus on is really the Instagram digital marketing side of things, which we've been playing with. I've seen some good results, but I haven't been hitting it as hard as I want to. So I want to put more money into that than I have in the past and really give it a good go.
Yeah, DJ Stacy did a nice job at Wedding MPA at her seminar on Instagram. I didn't agree with all of her 20 must-have hashtags, but I felt that she did a really, really good job giving people all the basics.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Was she doing it in the general session, or was she doing it for
DJ tracks specific, DJ specific? But yeah,
cool.
Like she used like hashtag DJ life.
Yeah.
I don't, I would do that for Marquis Show, but for Keith Christopher, I don't care. Like,
well, it depends on what you're trying to get from it. If you're trying to get DJs to look at it, yeah. If you're trying to get brides, I don't see how that does anything for you.
Right. And I've never understood like hashtag girl boss and like there are certain hashtags I see them. I don't get it. I mean, again, if you're a DJ trying to attract engaged couples, I don't know that hashtag DJ girl boss is I don't know how advantageous it'll be. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but if you're only supposed to use 16 to 20 hashtags total, you have to pick what you think your best 16 to 20 are going to be. So, so
what was interesting at this conference I went to just this week, they brought in somebody they went to the front desk and they brought the front desk girls in.
Yeah.
And they just randomly asked her, and they brought somebody else from the parking lot. I don't even know who it was.
Okay.
But, hey, so
it's called kidnapping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you on Instagram? And they go, yeah. And they said, okay, so what would you consider a large following count? And somebody said, one of the guys said 500 people. Another person said, I don't know, 120 or whatever it was. So what was interesting about that to me or to everybody there was that, in our industry and the event industry, we all think we have to have hundreds of thousands of followers and all this stuff. But to the regular Joe Schmo, like they don't really even clearly they want to see a decent number, but they're not looking at hundreds of thousands of followers. It's
but the question being is it a matter of followers or is it a matter of your posts hitting?
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to have to reach people. You definitely want to have the interaction. It's about the engagement that more than it is the following count. But and there's so many people who look at in our industry, DJs in particular, that say, "Hey, I've got a big following," or whatever. You think that that's the magic potion, and it's not. It's the engagement side that's more important.
In the special event industry, I'll agree with you. If you were playing out, if you were an open format DJ and part of your shtick of what you charged was that you're going to bring a crowd, then yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you look at one of my favorites. I'm addicted to DJ Lady Styles. I think she is a ton of fun. I think she's out of Paris. Are you familiar with her at all?
I know the name. I guess that maybe I'm not. I don't know if I'm following her or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know of the name, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm going to look up real fast. I mean, she's got to have at least 200,000-300,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: she's constantly posting new mixes and where she's going to be playing out and stuff. And
right.
I mean, I even looked into bringing her in for Marquee, and it just didn't line up.
Is she from France?
She's from France, yeah. DJ Lady Styles. Let's see. Oh, I have lazy. Sorry, Freudian slip for all you DJs that don't work very hard.
That'll pull up somebody interesting.
DJ Lady Style. 127,000 followers. And she's only following 105. And if you look at her stuff, almost all of them is short little videos of her in her home studio scratching. 776 posts.
Right.
So, I mean, she's fantastic. She's super entertaining. She's definitely soft on the eyes to look at too. But for somebody like her, I think it's a big deal. And so there's that. But I think we know a DJ, all of us know this DJ who will remain nameless. He's constantly posting on Instagram, and I'll look at his stuff and I'll go, why is he posting that? And then I'll look, most importantly, at his interaction or his engagement. Nobody is liking his stuff. Nobody. I may not like every picture that John posts of his kids or whatever, or I'm busy or what have you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times, even on a friendship, I'll be like, cool, your son Michael's cool and blah, blah, blah. And that's that. But nobody likes this guy's stuff. And the scary part, and this is why I always laugh about DJs, they go, he has to be a terrible DJ. Because being a DJ is about reading the room. And if you're constantly posting stuff that no one is liking or engaging or sharing, you really have to be a terrible DJ because you're not reading your own room on Instagram. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
that's the other thing I'm going to be focusing on more is my digital marketing strategy with the way I word things on my website. I want to go back. It's been a while since I've cleaned that up, and I want to go through and make it fresh, refresh it, and make sure it's online with what I'm currently doing. I think sometimes people put up a website and they don't check it for a couple of years. Yep. And I mean, if you're not refreshing that thing every couple months, at least making sure not just the pictures and the blogs up to date, but refining.
Well, walk into any store, in any retail, like in any mall, the front window's changing every month, every 2 months. They're constantly changing it up. Constantly. I mean, everybody's complaining right now that's not even Thanksgiving, and they barely got the Halloween stuff out, and all the Christmas trees were up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to get to a point where we're going to have Christmas trees up with orange LED Christmas tree lights on it or whatever.
Right.
And it's going to somehow be tied to Christmas stuff.
Right.
Especially as I'm sure the technology, it's probably there already, where you can change, you can buy LED Christmas lights and change them to any color. So you'll put them out there for Halloween, and they'll be purple and orange for Halloween, and then you'll change them to red and green, with a simple turn of a dial or what have you, or some sort of a controller. I mean, it seems logical, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
So,
so anything that you're going to cut out that you just don't want to do, or that you tried this year and it didn't work? Anything that this?
No, in fact, what's funny is I'm going to go old school for the first quarter of the year. I'm doing direct mail, and I'll run different promo codes for the bridal shows, but I still believe it's going to be a collage or a stew that's going to get people through my doors, and it's going to be a variety of things.
Yep.
Now, everybody that I spoke to at Wedding NBA, when we talked about events that brides will come into, the trick is going to be creating an experience. Millennials all want an experience. So for next year, I'm thinking the best thing that I could be doing is figuring out how to create planning styled experiences within our office. And because we have a showroom and a warehouse, there's a lot of stuff that we can do. We have enough space to do some cool stuff. So
you're talking about like just leaving that in the office year round, or
I'm talking about like once a month,
specific event,
trying to figure, or once every 2 months, doing an experience driven something, and it can't just be a mini bridal show, because I think everybody's done that. But if we do like a bridal day of pampering, and I can get, nail people in here and masseuses in here and make it totally non-sales orientated, and have wine in here and cheese and crackers and what have you. I mean, even at Wedding MBA, and I bet you went right past them, Sarah Campbell, who's a really well-known floral designer, kept popping in and working all of these various booths. And she was throwing together floral designs. And I'm telling you, at one point in time, some of the people with me in the Premier Bride booth, because they were like, she was a couple booths down, they would see 20, 30 people all congregating around.
Watching her work.
And the first time, the funny part was Deb, who was in the booth with me, went running out of there out of concern, thinking somebody had like fallen and needed medical attention or what have you. And so, because people were just quietly watching, and there wasn't any like hoorah, yelling, screaming, or whatever. But the reality was that they were all like intently watching her create these very cool floral pieces. And this is, again, it's not a diss on the on the DJ industry, but here's what was interesting. She had her Intrigue Design Teaches booth where she's doing workshops for floral designers. Then she was in like 4 or 5 different other suppliers' booths, and she spoke. And so that girl, for like 4 days or 3 days, did nothing but bust her ass branding herself to other floral designers, because she's doing the way that there's the Worth Tour, the entertainment experience. She must have done, I don't know, 20 dates last year. I mean, when she did a tour, she did a tour. Like she was in Chicago, then in Iowa, then in Nebraska. I mean, she was on tour. She must have done like 20, 26 dates on tour last year. And she'll be back here again in March when I was talking to her. But again, she uses these conventions. And that's where, again, I'm not passing judgment on anybody, but I look at how hard she worked in comparison to some of the notables that are, popping their head in, and they'll pop their head in for this, or they'll pop their head in for that, or they'll do one seminar, but you don't see anybody else in our business grinding the way that this one was grinding. So is that a tube television above your head? Like an old school?
It must be. Yeah, it is actually.
It must be. Where are you? Some random stranger's house? Did you break into someone's house for warmth?
No, I'm at my parents', so it probably is. Yeah.
Are you in your childhood bedroom? Can we see like your Cub Scout awards and stuff?
They moved here. They moved here after I was way out of the house. But
where's here? Where are you now, by chance?
I'm in Ormond Beach, Florida, for the day.
Okay, gotcha.
Nice.
Very good.
Headed to Tallahassee this weekend. So.
Okay, let's wrap it up, guys. We are at our point here.
John's bored, doesn't want to continue the conversation.
Oh no, we're at just we made it to 9:00 and such. So
we should go another hour, because we're not going to be on next week. So let's just give them another hour.
Well, I'm curious if there's anybody who watches this and gets posted on Facebook or whatever. If you comment, if you could let us know what you guys are doing for marketing stuff that you've seen work and what hasn't worked, because you can never know. You kind of crowdsource some of that stuff. You can get some new ideas. And
you can crowdsource stuff. They'll tell you the same thing. Wedding wire sucks. Emails suck. The net sucks. Google sucks. I don't need to do any of that stuff. I've been doing this for 35 years. I have the same business cards that I had in 1987, and I'm booked every weekend. So,
well, if there's any youngins that are trying anything new, that aren't get off my lawn type of folks, I'd love to hear from you.
All right. So
meanwhile,
if you're in junior high, make sure you get your parents' permission to say hello to the old man.
So we got Turkey Day, and then we get into holiday parties. It's gonna be fun.
That's right. So John, you have yourself a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank
Brian,
you. Thank you. You too.
Where are you going to be? Are you in Florida with the
I'm
family?
Home.
You're
in
New York. Yeah. Now, do you have outside of your wife? Do you have extended family there?
No, we do a Friendsgiving for all the orphans that are out there.
Got it.
Who don't go home.
Now, when you say you do friends, you invite them into your home, or you hope to get invited to somebody else's?
Oh no, we invite them over. So we host. So
very nice.
Yeah, we've been doing it the last couple of years, so we'll probably have like 10, 15 people over.
Gotcha.
That should be pretty fun.
John,
watch the Lakers.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
John, you have like 75 kids, so what are you doing?
We're going to have the extended family on both my side and Lori's side coming over, so we'll probably have 30, 35 people over at the house.
Oh my gosh.
You have a banquet hall going on.
It is. It will be that. So I'm going to be making tuna sandwiches, and it's going to be awesome.
Did you say tuna sandwiches?
No,
I think he said tuna. I thought he said tuna sandwich.
I did
say
tuna.
That's one way to get them out early. Have them before they show up and then breathe all over them.
I saw a tweet today. Somebody said that they thought that Thanksgiving and Christmas needs to be 6 months apart because it's way too soon to be seeing the same people again.
That's kind of funny.
That's great.
That is kind of funny. So,
all right, guys. Well, great show. We'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Bye.